Hello and welcome to another episode of the Meditating Cowboy with your boy RP. So I am excited to make this last podcast on this series that I like to call Expanding Consciousness. But Culture Shock was originally created because I wanted to give my perspective. And the reason I think my perspective is unique or I guess important is I actually consciously throughout my life put myself in situations that have helped me expand my mind as a human being, not as a Mexican or a cowboy or whatever image I put out. I'm actually intentionally doing this because I know that we're all the same, and the only thing that makes us different is our actions and ideas that we put forward. And so I want to let y'all know I was raised Catholic. Then I tried a few other churches to see what the deal was, like Jehovah's Witness, Church of Scientology, Born Again Christian, like First Baptist. And one thing that I've noticed among all these, I feel like each one had a selfish side and a selfish side. And I personally don't think God or the universe has an ego. For one, because if the universe or God had an ego, he or she or it will fall prey to the same things that we human beings fall prey because we have a self-image. We have an ego, and ego is the free will to do what you want. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but that's why the messages that I get from these other companies or organizations, religions, and or I call them organizations because they are organizations. But anyways, the information I get from them, I just kind of piece all of it together. And I feel like that's why some people who understand me understand exactly what I'm saying and know that I'm not razzing people up. I'm not lying. I'm genuinely speaking my truth. And not only that, I'm actually putting a lot to action. And this is my calling, to be honest. Like, I've accepted that this is the sword I'm going to die on. I'm going to be the guy that expands people's consciousness and caters to people whenever I can. Of course, I am human. Sometimes I get triggered and I say things that I don't really mean in a mean way. And sometimes I do mean them, but I'm trying to the intention is to actually make that other person aware that they too are just like me, sensitive, they can get hurt. But the point is to work together. And if people don't want to do that, that's fine. Like, I'm not going to sit there and try to convince people. Like, we're all going to die anyways. That's what makes it all us kind of similar, is the fact that we have mortality. And what we do with our only thing we have here is our time and health matters. And so that's why I do this podcast. And I have a food truck that I'm about to start as a nonprofit, donation-based. And as a certified nutritional coach, I'll be teaching people how to eat to regain their health. I learned the science of blood sugar stabilization through nutrition, and I'm going to teach people that. And I'm very excited. I feel like everything that I have has pretty much been given to me, although I've worked for it, quotations. I think that the reason everything came to me so easy is because I'm meant to use it to help humanity. Now, it sounds kind of like, to some people, it might be like, oh, so glorious. And to some people, like, oh, the ego in this guy. But it's irrelevant. Like, whether somebody's praising me or hating on me, it's not up to me. This isn't my time. Like, this is y'all's time. Y'all are allowed to say and do whatever y'all want about me, but don't hurt me, of course. I'm about everything, but don't hurt nobody physically. And I'm still going to continue doing what I got to do. You know what I mean? If I fuck up somewhere, friends and family and other people will realign me. And if they're right, I'll realign my shit. If they're not right, then we can talk about it. That's what makes us conscious beings, humans, so great, is the fact that we don't have to be animal-like by just attacking each other and not understanding each other. We can agree to disagree and still work together in whatever areas that we are really good at together. So, yeah, I really hope these last 10 podcast episodes help. I'm just now kind of getting more comfortable. I'm building more confidence. And if y'all watch all my episodes, I know y'all be able to tell. I'm gaining more confidence, and I'm gaining more perspective by videoing, editing myself, and being so authentic. I'm being super authentic, and I'm being original. You know what I mean? I'm not putting up a front. This isn't some kind of stunt. Though I do see the polarities and everything. I could see how some people will see it that way. But again, I always go back to us people. Like, and when I say me, I'm really talking about us humans. Like, like I always say, the only thing special about me is already in everybody else. It's just I tend to put more actions to my plans and my ideas. I sacrifice, I discipline, and I do so I can provide this value. I love the admiration that I get from people. I love when people give me thanks and then they put it into practice. That's really what I love more, is when they actually do it. I don't even care for the admiration. I don't even care for the credit, to be honest. Like, the fact that somebody's doing something loving or more with their life is fulfilling for me. It's like nice. It's like they get it. You know what I mean? And even if you don't get it, the fact that they're willing to listen and or let other people be, that to me is love. Like, unconditional love is everything. Like, to me it's the ultimate human experience, is to be unconditionally loved by all my friends and family. And even if they're not, it's just finding that balance to accept that people are not going to love me the way I want them to. And same applies to y'all. I'm sure y'all want love and admiration from your friends and be like, hey, congratulations, Samantha, or congratulations, Kevin, whoever. And, that feels great. You're like, oh, you know what I mean? And some people obviously are very aware that they are great. I feel everybody's great. And then they put that into actions and like accomplish so much in such a short period of time. And everybody's got different goals, you know what I mean? And that's what's so beautiful about being human, is you can set up your goal to whatever you want. You can help people, even if, okay, here's a good example. My dad's addicted to gambling, and my advice to him, I was like, because he retired and he feels bored. So I'm like, why don't you start a business with the things that you like? Why don't you start little side hustling on the side, little gambling or whatever on the side, open a little business. I'm like, legally, of course, and see if that's something that'll fulfill you. Obviously, if it's an addiction you can't overcome, but you can manage by not spending all your money, I think it's a healthy balance. We're all addicted to a lot of things. Top 3 things that I would say that I'm addicted as of right now: food, women, and attention. But not just any food, not just any woman, and not just any attention. And I believe that's because I have a certain goal, and I have a certain image, and I have a certain thing that I want to bring to humanity. So I have to handle myself in that way. Or if I don't do that, the universe or God would eventually guide me back, because through all the failures or struggles, when you really see them as a strength, as a guidance, you tend to use those mistakes for lessons, and grow, because that's really all we can do, is try and either fail or succeed and then keep going. If you don't do that, you're more than likely probably sad and depressed because you knew you can, but you just didn't do it for some reason. And I think that's one of the main reasons for depression, is the lack of a positive self-image and the action behind that. If you see yourself as whatever, but yet you don't do nothing like whatever you see yourself as, sooner or later you're going to realize you're not that. And you know what I mean? And then that might be depressing. And for example, let me give you, and that goes back to my very first episode, ego, the self-image. It's very crucial for you to understand what a self-image and what an ego is. And they're both the same thing. And the reason I think they're very crucial is because it will help you succeed. It'll help you find better relationships. It'll just help you build yourself / find yourself. And I think that's one of the main key things here to being alive. When you really think about it, the only difference between certain people is the knowledge and the action they apply to it, embodying the knowledge. You know what I mean? That's all it is. But I also recommend y'all learning about what it is to be human. What does it take to sustain the body nutritionally? What does it take to sustain the body mentally? What does it take to sustain the body spiritually? And as you fall down those rabbit holes, you start to realize that we humans are all the same. Again, repeating myself. The only thing that makes us different is our actions and our ideas. Our ideas and our actions we put behind those. And I don't know. I really love talking about that because I feel like ultimately it doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter what a lot of people say. It's like, what are they really doing though? What are they doing? What is their action speaking? Because they speak louder than our words. And as a very sensitive human, like when people get sensitive by words or offended by words, I get offended. I'm like, really? Like, really? You gonna let a word harm you? When did words start hurting? When did sticks and stones stop breaking your bones and then now hurt? The words hurt your bones. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, I can't. That's just something I don't know. I don't like that. And of course, it's not up to me. It's not up to me what I like or not. But I do throw down with people who get offended by words. If it's something so rude and they're very sensitive, I don't come at them that way. But if it's something that's not rude, they're just being overly sensitive, yeah, I go ham at them. I just have to. I got to wake them up, kind of like Force Conscious, which is my rapper name. And yeah, I love that. But I really hope that y'all found value again in these last 10 episodes. And if there's anything else that y'all would like for me to talk about as far as expanding human consciousness, or you have a question of what I think certain things are, feel free to ask them. The meditatingcowboy@gmail.com. I got my personal cell. I normally don't answer phone calls, but I do answer texts. And if you leave a voicemail and it's important, I do call back.